Hello, my name is Matt Sherman, author of Creative Studio, and it's my honor to be able to be here today on Facebook Live and to show you a few things about drawing. The last time I demonstrated drawing, there were some questions about how to make a non-continuous pattern into a continuous pattern, and there are a few questions about that. So I thought that would make a good demonstration for today. We'll just wait for a few seconds for to get started here, and I'll go ahead and get things in position. Okay. So last time we were together, I was showing you how you could use draw text and the fonts that are contained in there to draw, to like kind of like instantaneously make patterns. So if we go into draw text, and I'm going to pick Arial to begin with. And I just type hello. Yeah, I'll type SpaceX. And congratulations of their launch they just had. Which if you haven't seen that, was pretty exciting. So a lot of the fonts that are pattern-like into the word ding, you have Webdings and Webdings. I'll click Webdings, and there you can see several patterns that are sewable that are made out of a letter. So this is the letter S. Probably the people who made it were thinking stadium, P, police car, A, like a okay, check. It's hard to know what they were thinking, but it's a possibility that some of these had to do with the letters they were on. Well, how do you know which letter is which? If you go into the fonts folder and we look at, let me back up there for a second. I'm gonna look there. So I've gone into File Explorer and I've navigated to my Windows folder, my fonts folder, and this is an Arial font that I've clicked. You can see in all lowercase A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way through Z, and then uppercase A through Z. So what we'll now do, I'm going to minimize that, back up a little bit, and go down into Webdings. Not that one. Yeah, this one. Okay, so what I'm looking for is, I want this little star type compass pattern right here. And I know that the letters are in alphabetical. So if I start with the check, and A is the check, and B is bicycle, C is the square, and then D, E, F is a fire truck, G, H, I, J, K, L. So lowercase l is this compass type symbol that I used last time. I'm going to minimize that just in case I need it again, and minimize that. Okay, and so I'm going to change this to lowercase l. Okay, and there's that little compass symbol that I wanted. I have my grid size set to 1 inch, and so my total pattern size I have set to 2 inch. That saves you a little bit of time in this process. If you have your grid set to double the height of your pattern is very handy. There might be cases when you want thirds, but usually you want your pattern height to be double what your grid height is. Okay, so we have this pattern here, the letter L, and so I'm going to hit F2 so we can see what it would sew like. It's going to go around the outside, and then it's going to jump to the middle. Every one of these is going to be a jump stitch. It's not even jumping in the most efficient way. The people who made the letters didn't have to worry about that because they weren't sewing them. All they're doing is printing them. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to make this into a continuous pattern. So how we're going to do that is we're going to drag it onto this grid here. And we're going to try to get it just as good as we can. You can use the Alt key and the arrow to do small movements. And that may be fairly decent. Doesn't have to be super perfect. We'll make it better here in just a second. Okay, so this point right here has a start and end about where I want the start and end to be on this little triangle right here. So I'm going to keep that one, and then I'm going to throw away the others. And so how I'm going to do that is I'm going to press F7 on the keyboard, and that brings up the nodes that control this pattern. And you can see the jump stitches here. So I'm going to hit D for divide as I'm over the node. See how my crosshair changes as I go over the node? I press D for divide, and then I'm going to come over here and press D for divide again. And I'm going to come down here and D for divide on that one. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this part. And then I need to divide a little bit more. Sometimes you have to divide more. Where the jump stitches are, there's a blue line. You can see right here. And also the pink is doubly dark. I don't know the right good way to say that. You can see how these are light pink and this one's a little bit darker pink. So that's a good place to divide. And obviously you can see the blue jump lines going to it. Okay, so now we have these separated off. We'll delete those and delete that one. So now what we have, if I F2 that, virtual stitch that out, that, and that, okay? So now I am going to hit F11 to get my endpoint handles, and I am going to, so this is already set on a grid snap. I'm going to turn the grid snap off just for a little bit so you can see that move around. See, that's free moving, and then I hit G, and it snaps into place. Okay, so now we have that exactly on the 1 inch mark. And so what we're going to do now is we want to add a lead line from this point over. But since the lead line and exit line from the triangle are going to be over the top of each other, we're going to have to kind of build this up in stages. And the triangle is the most difficult part. So, and it's kind of the ending part, at least at this stage. So we're going to go ahead and focus on just doing that part first, or orientating that first. So I'm going to hit Alt-L on my keyboard, or I could hit Draw a Line at the top. I'm going to turn off the snaps so I can just kind of freehand. And I'm going to click a point from here. And then I'm going to hit E on the keyboard for endpoint snap, and endpoint snap right there. Okay, and then I'm going to click this pattern here, this lead in line, I'm going to hit order join. Okay, and all right, so now that's the first and second pattern. Every time you order join, those patterns become the first patterns. So I'm going to hit F2, and that's exactly what I want. Okay, so now I need to draw a little exit line, and the endpoint snap's already on, so that's good. I turn endpoint snap off. Endpoint snap off, and click that. Okay, I'm going to click this start line again, order join this, and then combine it. F2 this. Okay, it's doing exactly what I want. So now we're going to grab this start line, hit F7, I'm going to pull it over, and then I'm going to press G for grid snap. It's going to snap into place. And then I'm going to do the same for the end. And then escape out of the nodes. I'm going to come down here, right click this pattern, and pick order join. Okay, and then we're going to check it with F2. Okay, and that was successful. They're still individual pieces, so I'm going to hit Control A and combine them. Okay, at this point, I think I'll save it. And then what we'll do is use circular array to make this into one continual pattern. This is a common practice for pattern design. A lot of times patterns are mirrored to each other. We could have gone to the trouble of straightening up each of these 4 quadrants, but it would have taken quite a bit more work and been quite a bit more difficult to get them order joined and straight and everything. So by just working on a 4th or even an 1/8 of a pattern and then using circular array, it's a lot faster way to get your patterns made and made correctly. So now we're going to click circular array. Okay, this is the orientation of this was not correct. I probably should have picked the upper left quadrant, but I actually knew it was going to turn out like this, so I did it on purpose to show you how you can still handle this situation. So what we're going to do is, this is obviously not what I want. What I want is a star. I'm going to turn off Connect, and then I'm going to pull. So we have a grid snap going, so you can see different orientations. But as I come up here, I then get what I want. It's not going to sew in the correct order because the direction of the pattern is not correct. But it doesn't matter because we can fix that. So I'm going to hit OK. And just to show you that it's not going to be correct, I'm going to hit F2. And every time it jumps, you hear a beep. Okay. So all we have to do to fix it is pick this pattern and then say order join. And it'll force it to be correct. And now when we hit F2, you won't hear any beeps. I'll let it run all the way around just to be sure before I combine it into one pattern. Okay. So these are still individual patterns. So again, I'm going to hit Control A, right click combine, and probably a good idea to save it at this point. I feel like I'm misspelling compass, but oh well. Star is a keyword. And we'll tell it, say that's a block. And we'll save it. If we change this to newest first, we'll see the new pattern that we made. This is me playing around earlier. Make sure that I can show you all this. So now this is a block pattern. So another thing we could do with this, which would be kind of fun, is make this into a point-to-point. So let's do that. Let's draw a line. We're going to use the grid again. There's another reason that I built on the grid from here. And just to be sure, the grid and end should be exactly the same, but just to be sure, I'm going to change it to end. Click there, and then I'm going to right-click. I'm going to click this and click order join. And then I am going to go ahead and combine that. And F2, just to make sure everything is still good. Okay, now let's add the ending line, Alt-L. Turning off grid snap, just endpoint snap. And then now turning on grid snap. And right-click to exit. Right-click this starting piece, order join. And combine patterns. All right, F2 to double check. Plus speeds it up. Very good. And we'll save this pattern. Compass star, point to point. And this is a point to point. And this tag is a star. I'm going to save this. And now we can do some kind of fun things. Okay, like draw with pattern. We can apply that along an arc. And apply pattern. So endless possibilities. You can make it into a corner. You can make it into a border piece. You can make a nice little corner piece for this thing. As you can see, the possibilities are endless. So are there any questions about today's demonstration of how to make a non-continuous pattern into a continuous pattern? Well, I'm not seeing any questions popping up. Well, here's one now. Can you discuss the problem of the patterns bloating when you make changes like this and resaving the pattern? How to stop that from happening? Because it happens to me all the time. Yeah, that's a known issue in Creative Studio 7.1. That is going to be fixed in the upcoming version. And that version will also fix all of that bloating that you're speaking of. in your existing patterns, both when you sync to the cloud and both when you um, um, load patterns into your project. All that will be fixed. So anytime Gamma releases a version, our top priority is always anything that's on the known issue list. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hopefully not too long now. Um, I can never speak about release dates. We're always working towards the next version. From the day after the last version comes out, we're always working toward the next. So have some fun drawing. These dings, um, they come with letters, are a fun thing to practice with. I've seen web dings, like a Halloween ding that I sewed once on a quilt, was one letter was an entire like Norman Rockwell style scene of kids in the foreground running with costumes and trick or treating, and then people in the background, and all the way up the sidewalk up to our nice pretty house in the background. You know, it had 10,000 jump stitches in it, but it was sewable. Um, the bloating that can happen when this happens is it wouldn't happen with this pattern. Someone asked what that was. I'll just speak to that briefly. Um, so here in pattern properties, there's designer info. And so whenever you combine two patterns, let me see if I can find a pattern that actually has designer info. Okay, so this right here. So this has designer info. Um, so what we did, let me, hold on, let me make a new group. I did not mean to click that. Okay, so a lot of times when you're making patterns, you're making them out of multiple pieces. Okay, so this is by Tammy. So to give both designers credit in 7.1, we started to combine both their designer info into the designer info section. And so if I save these, and this is just an example of how the bloating would occur. Okay, so now when I come in here and I see view pattern properties, you can see, Donna Gleike, and then that's all her info, and then combined with Tammy Finkler, so that both of these authors have credit for the patterns that were used to make this pattern. The problem was that if you took and to copy, understand, and use the piece over and over and over again, which of course you wouldn't do, but you might come in and use like one of these little beads. So one thing you can do to prevent bloating in 7.1 is to draw your own pieces of patterns, or you could even use patterns as you're combining things that you don't have to copy it so many times can help. Okay, and then whenever you saved it again, you now would have all the information 3 times each, which is 6. 6 times the designer info, and so on. And so that would cause the designer notes field to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Microsoft has a limit on how much data can be stored in that field. Sometimes it will seem like a memory slowdown or something like that. It's definitely not within the limits of the memory. It is just within the limits of that variable can hold. So, so there's an explanation of that. And I hope you enjoyed this demo of how you can make some of your own continuous patterns out of things that are readily available for you. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you, and goodbye. Happy quilting.